Gap, we welcome from Henry Ford Jackson, Vice President of Human Resources, Cindy Harrison, and from Spring Arbor University, Vice President for Student Development and Success, Kevin Braun. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Bart.
Yeah, nice to see you both again. I saw you both at the Bridging the Gap event a couple weeks ago that you had at Spring Arbor. And this is an initiative that was started by someone named Simon Greer. Who's Simon Greer?
Well, Simon Greer is the founder of the Bridging the Gap initiative, Courageous Conversations, and we began work with him in 2019 at Spring Arbor as we launched the first ever collegiate initiative of communication across difference. And we partnered with Oberlin College back in 2019-2020 and have received tremendous success and has made an impact on our campus over the last 5 years now. And so we were excited to partner with Cindy and Henry Ford Jackson. And so Simon has been an integral part of helping us shape what it looks like for different audiences. And so it's been a phenomenal impact on our campus, and we believe has the power to make a tremendous impact in our community.
Absolutely.
From what I could tell at your ceremony where you award certificates to those who've completed the program, it's most effective when you find two organizations, two colleges that are quite different to begin with, thus the bigger gap that needs to be bridged. Is that the idea?
That's the initial idea from a higher education perspective. We also understood in our work that it has an impact in any organization, and we had a number of our students who were in our doctoral of nursing program who felt that they would benefit from learning how to communicate across difference with their patients. It helps to build relationships. And so that was the beginning, that little nugget of spending time in teaching a part of a course in the DNP program that I think led to our relationship beginning and really blossoming.
And Cindy, that's what I've noticed about you. You're very willing to think outside the box and try some new things, and this fits into that.
Absolutely. You know, Teshna Thomas and I had lunch with Kevin. We were introduced to Kevin because we heard they were doing some unique things in diversity and inclusion, and we have been working a lot on that in our organization. So I wanted to learn what he was doing, and we immediately clicked. Yes. And thought we could really do great things in a partnership in Bridging the Gap and the rest of our diversity initiatives. So.
Well, I mentioned I was at the event where you had a little celebration with some presentations. We have a little clip from I think one of the students that was in attendance and I think also an employee talking about their experience. Let's take a look.
My name is Emily Moorhead. I'm the president of Henry Ford Jackson Region, and I have served this community for almost 5 years now. And early in my tenure, it became very present to me that our purpose, our connection, our ability to really truly listen to one another was lacking in the organization. You know, we can blame COVID, why not, right? We blame everything else on COVID, so we might as well blame it on that. But we also know that that's not a workable strategy. We gotta focus on the strength of culture. And our organization understands what building a strong culture needs. It needs to start with us, the leadership team. And that's why we chose to partner with Bridging the Gap and Spring Arbor University. And what we did was we had all of our top leaders go through Bridging the Gap. But then we realized that we needed to ingrain it, right? And really make it part of the culture. And you don't do that with just a few days of quote-unquote training. So what we did is we partnered with Simon Greer, Spring Arbor University, and 12 of us leaders, including myself, went through a Train the Trainer program. And that's what we're here to celebrate, is the completion of that Train the Trainer program.
Workplaces went through a phase of saying, we're just going to have rules. You can't talk about this, you have to say this, you're not allowed to say that, don't do this, and it'll be fine. And it ended up not being fine. People still have their political feelings. They still, decisions we make professionally still have political ripples. And trying to pass rules to safeguard that you can't do this and you can do that ended up leaving people thinking, well, should I duck? Should I just hope that I don't get put on the spot? And I think the shift to say what we want to do is actually face the fact that we live in a very polarized time. We're going to have hard conversations. We have to do it skillfully rather than just duck and hope we won't have to do it is going to serve us a lot better. And so you're part of, I would say, the front end of a trend of workplaces saying there's got to be a more skillful way to do this. We shouldn't be in fear every day, especially in an industry like healthcare, but you could say it about any industry. The choices seem political because everything seems political. And in the face of that, the answer isn't to hope it won't be politicized or hope we won't have a hard conversation. It's to say we will, but we're going to embrace it. We're going to try to embrace the differences between us and say, actually, our workplace is better because you see the world differently.
Cindy, it sounds it's a lot about culture, the culture of an organization. So how important is culture to Henry Ford?
Culture is everything. Because really, particularly in our industry, I would say it's so in any industry, but particularly in healthcare, where we're caring for people at their very most vulnerable, our culture needs to be really solid. We need to support one another, respect one another, understand each other. And Bridging the Gap just really gives us the tools to listen to one another with curiosity and without judgment, to learn about one another so that we can work better together and support one another better. When our team is together and we're doing well, our patients are going to do better. We're going to listen better to our patients and respect their needs.
Kevin, for Spring Arbor University, there's some cores to Spring Arbor's culture, and some have to do with things like Christianity, which is really not something that is part of the cores of an organization like Henry Ford. How do you maintain the important parts of your culture, like Christianity, as you're bridging the gap with an organization where that's not one of their pillars?
I think it starts first and foremost understanding that in our culture, in our belief, we are all God's children and should be respected and treated with dignity, period. And so while our perspectives on things may be different, we still hold true that we're all God's children. We are all wonderfully and individually made in His image, and that says something. And so I think that part of the invitation that we have with Bridging the Gap is that we're not here to change someone's mind. If it's important to you, then it's important to us. And it is, as an educational institution, it is about what can we learn from one another. And so there is relationship building that's part of it, so that we can learn why someone may hold the perspective that they have, so that we know. And that helps us in our relationship development and relationship building. As there are students at Spring Arbor who come with a range of beliefs. They may not have any Christian faith. We have students that are Muslims at Spring Arbor. And so we still welcome them. They understand who we are, but we welcome them and treat them with dignity and respect and the love that God calls us to do so with.
Let's talk about something that I know you both feel is important, and that's DEI initiatives on your campus, on both campuses. What is the impact of Bridging the Gap when it comes to DEI?
again, it's so helpful because I think that's what the DIJ initiatives are about, is helping us value and even celebrate our differences because it makes us stronger. You know, everyone brings their unique self to work every day, and having us bridge that gap of maybe misunderstandings, but understanding one another makes us richer. You know, when I actually talk to you, even though you might have a different view than I do, it educates me about why you're thinking that way. And a lot of times I'll learn something I didn't think I could learn, right? And so it makes us stronger when we can share that information, understand one another better. And that helps everything in DEIJ. That's so much about, I think, what makes differences difficult is we make up what we think about a person instead of really listening to understand. And when you listen to understand, it's like, wow, you're not that different than I am. You know, it's really been very helpful.
How about now that you've completed the training, what are some maybe real life examples of how the collaboration between Henry Ford and Spring Arbor continues?
Well, I think it's been a phenomenal collaboration. We often sit back and think, wow, this all started with a lunch a couple of years ago, and you know, here we are now with a relationship, a partnership, and looking at ways to expand that. You know, certainly we have healthcare and nursing is a big part of our university campus, and our students, our student leaders, our healthcare staff, our nursing team, they're all being trained in this way in terms of bridging the gap. And so that then becomes a lot easier as they want to contribute to the healthcare profession. It's wonderful that Henry Ford has taken on this initiative, and we want to continue to find ways to expand that work together because it is so vital.
So do you want to find other organizations to bridge the gap with?
Absolutely. I mean, we're expanding this learning throughout our entire organization of Henry Ford Health, you know, in all of our Southeast Michigan and our new Ascension partners. So we're integrating it into everything that we do, into our new team member orientation. And it's sort of, I hope that it's sort of like dropping a pebble in the water. You know, it sends out ripples. And we really want this to be in our community. We want to work more closely with our community, which is part of why we partnered with Spring Arbor, and we're doing a lot of work with Jackson College and other partners in this community. And we would love to see it spread throughout our whole community. It will make us better.
So you're both recruiters. How does this, having something like this in place, help attract talent and students to Spring Arbor and talent to Henry Ford?
I would say for us, it is a distinctive, you know, there's a part in the Bible that talks about blessed are the peacemakers. And so part of what we end up learning is how to bring peace through understanding, through listening. And so that is and right now our world is so divided, Bart, and the narrative is negative on both sides. But I would say particularly, you know, from our Christian perspective, there is a narrative of what it means to be a Christian. And so for us to say, no, there's another path that says we're going to listen. We want to listen to your story, to understand your perspective, to educate, as Cindy said, for us to be educated. And we may just find out that there's much more that unites us than divides us. And I think that is a distinctive, and parents and families, I think, find that attractive. There's some research out there that companies and corporations are looking for students who know how to communicate well across difference, who know how to utilize these skills in terms of conflict resolution. And it makes for a much better and stronger culture in a workplace or in an educational environment.
Well, and for us, I mean, culture is everything. You know, the culture we build either attracts or repels people. And so when people come to us, and we're now, Emily Moorhead, our president, and I are teaching these tools in our new member orientation. And so people learn from the very first day they start with us that we appreciate you and we want to hear you. We want you to give us ideas and suggestions, and we want to work with you to be successful. That builds a culture where everyone is welcome and appreciated, and we're going to do even better for our patients.
Well, it was great to hear about this collaboration. We appreciate you both coming in today.
Our
It's our
pleasure.
pleasure. Thank you.
It's the National Bridging the Gap Initiative happening here at SAU and Henry Ford. Thanks to Vice President at Spring Arbor, Kevin Brown, and Vice President at Henry Ford, Cindy Harrison. More to come on the show today. We are going to hear about how you can become safer and